Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with Doug Censor Martin going rogue on the timeline, we also have Crimsix calling out his former coach, it seems, in Rambo, saying how well he made him retire a few years ago and now he's getting dropped from the Dallas Empire. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do to help this channel reach more people. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already, bottom right hand corner. You know the drill. Firstly, this from Glory. We saw yesterday that Chino and Drama retired from professional play. Glory doing the same thing like another player who's been around for a very long time in the scene. We'll see some follow-up really to this from Censor in a few minutes time here, but still kind of remarkable to think about. This also from Vortex, right? It's difficult to see to me because Vortex was absolutely killing it in challenges last year in the European side, had like the #1 average placing. Like he's been a player that was on Epsilon a few years ago, was a really good player at the time, but had a difficult couple of years and now he's stuck down in challenges in the European region. And he's certainly a player that if I was Paris, like I would have very heavily considered picking up Harry from the European side. I'd have picked up Vortex and I'd have considered my options from there rather than going down this route of picking up what you could argue are just like washed players from the North American side, or at least in large part. So it's interesting to see. It's really tough for Vortex, right? Because as Chris Tunn says, literally the most geographically challenged COD player of all time. If he had the numbers he has done with 6 years younger, he'd have been in the league from the word go. It's you know, similar. People say similar things about Saints, right, from the North American side. That if he just changed his name or was called something else and said he was 18, he'd be being picked up straight away. But just because he's older, like he doesn't get the opportunities, right? So really difficult to see, but I guess Vortex will keep on grinding and with any luck expansion comes through, I guess, and he gets an opportunity at some point or another. Doug Censor Martin also on a rampage. My plan is to compete and win a COD League World Championship and then win a natural bodybuilding competition so I can be the only person in the world with both, which is it's quite the statement really here from Doug Censor Martin. Of course, yeah, he's going to win the World Champs. That's going to be a difficult time in and of itself, and then he's going to win the bodybuilding competition, which I guess, I mean, fair enough, right? I'm not sure which one is more challenging, but all I know is if FaZe put Censor on their team, then immediately be the #1 team in the game, undisputed #1 fact. Breaking Point revealed the number 12 and number 11 players of the season yesterday. It's interesting really how these go. So Dashi gets in at number 12, which I think is probably about fair enough. These lists are kind of difficult though, right? Because like Dashi's stats here are obviously spectacular, but the results weren't necessarily there. Like you can see the placings right here. They got 3rd at the Stage 5 major. Outside of that, they never placed 3rd or better, right? Which just really says that like you can compare the Optic guys to, for example, Dallas, and despite the fact that the Optic guys, Envoy, I mean, I'm pretty sure Envoy was 14, Dashi 11th, or Dashi 12th, and Scump 11th, and they all have pretty high placings on this top 20 list, but yet their results don't necessarily match up, whereas you look at Dallas Empire, and those guys, like, not many of them at all really made this list apart from Shotzzy, but I mean, they actually had much better results, right? So that's kind of the interesting question mark here. Like, I mean, for example, a guy like Crimsix, a lot of people would say, like, he should have been a top 20 player in the sense of, like, you know, what he did for the team in terms of, like, well, certain statistics he was actually really good at, also being a good IGL and getting good results for the team, but statistically wasn't necessarily so good, therefore didn't get it. So that's kind of the thing, right? The fact that Optic have a lot of players on pretty high up on this list, but yet they didn't really get the results just because individually all very skilled and all can pop off in their certain moments, but just well, teamwork wise didn't really work out. So always tough to make these lists good, but I mean, still, I think we did a relatively solid job. These were Dashi stats, as you can see. Scump gets 11, which I think was probably about fair enough, just outside the top 10. I mean, nowadays, even for a guy like Scump, who's obviously been a dominant player for so many years, like, you know, getting 11th out of the league is pretty impressive, all things considered, given how many good players there are, especially with the difficult performances and results they had this season. Pretty interesting to see, like, the ranking breakdown here, actually. So, pretty, you know, content breaking point this time, as I've had him at around 10. The amateur coaches surprisingly down at 16. Not sure how many amateur coaches there were, but they clearly don't rate Scump as highly as maybe the rest of us do, but still a pretty solid placing overall from Scump. 20 S&D clutches was one of his top moments. He was an absolute monster in Search and Destroy this year, which really did turn around from previous years where he's considered to be so good at respawn, not so good in the searches. Definitely it will change people's minds, I think, this year, becoming a bit of a Search and Destroy star, to be honest, in his own right. And these are some of the highlights, for example, from Dashi after such a challenging, really Modern Warfare season on Optic Gaming Los Angeles. He was making some crazy plays at times, well, especially this one. I remember the bottom part of the Raid Pool House, when, yeah, he was just making some crazy plays, but we'll have to see whether next season will be better for them in terms of overall placings and performances. This then we're going to talk about from Crimsix. So yesterday we had this whole, well, we had the throwback tournament, right? The Crimsix and Co had a pretty good time in, ended up getting 2nd place in the end. Now, there was a couple of clips that came out that were very entertaining indeed from this stream. One of them was when he was kind of spectating Gunless, and Gunless was running around with no one actually on the other side of the freefall. Just, yeah, true winning mentality right there. But the other one was the fact that Crimsix and Rambo, they've, of course, had a relationship that goes back many a year. We'll have a look at that here in just a second. But Rambo was the coach for the Dallas Empire last year, during, well, of course, last year, and when they won the World Championship on the Dallas Empire. Empire during 2020. But then Crimsix, of course, was dropped this season, and we believe it was Rambo, and it was Shotzi on the phone, and the reasons that he was given kind of things like, okay, yeah, you weren't always on time for scrims and stuff like this, and this is why we're going to be dropping you. Crimsix knew that those weren't really the real reasons. There was other reasons he was being dropped, just because they probably thought he wasn't good enough, right, compared to the other options they had with this merger we imagine is coming through. So Crimsix kind of frustrated, we looked at the time, with some of the reasons he was given and the reason why he didn't really think that those reasons were valid, but still, it was Rambo and Shotzi seemingly that kind of were giving him the phone calls to tell him he was going to be dropped from the team. So I'm sure he still gets on pretty well with Rambo, but I mean, still, what he has to say in this clip I thought was pretty funny, saying that like, yeah, I made this guy retire many years ago because I was just way too good, and now this guy's dropped me from the team.
Bro, Pat's literally a stock. He's the next Wolf of Wall Street. Mr. X is goddamn commissioner of OWL. And then me and Clay are just still in the trenches, dog. Like what the
War paint on.
This
still,
ain't
bro.
right, bro. Dealing with 18-year-olds and goddamn coaches that we made retire just rob
we got
us,
Porter,
bro.
Kitchen, Hydra, English. Crazy.
Right, dude? Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm
sure.
actually down, man, for real.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
sounds good. I'll hit you guys up then.
Yep, see you guys.
Later.
All right,
Peace,
later,
boys.
guys. GG's.
They're still playing. This is Pat. No, it's called, dude. They're still playing. He's running around. Dude, Pierce, the tournament is over. Oh my, he just did 2 full laps around the map looking for someone, bro. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God.
So if you guys don't know too much about Rambo's playing career, this was how it was really back in the day. I mean, even before this, right, in Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, having some good success on the Optic teams. But then when Black Ops 2 kicks off, this is where, like, Rambo had some pretty good success early on in this title. Envy, Stainville, JCat, Proofy, and Rambo, what a team that was. They won a couple of events. They came second at the World Championship to Fariko Impact as it was at the time. So, yeah, Rambo fell short there. And then continued on Envy pretty much the entirety of this cycle. And then comes second again at the World Championship next year to none other than Crimsix and his Complexity squad, and soon after that he decided to retire. So Rambo was considered to be a real innovator in the game, like he kind of brought in the MP7 meta to Black Ops 2 at a time, and was a real, like, really changed up the way people thought about the game in terms of hardpoint, the way they practiced, like, was a really influential figure, but wasn't considered ever to have the best gun skill, and therefore when players started getting better and better really throughout Call of Duty Ghost, especially into the jetpack era, he just wasn't necessarily able to hang. Of course, he came back several years later after working, I'm pretty sure, even for Sledgehammer Games for a while. He came back for Modern Warfare, of course, as the coach for Dallas Empire and won the World Championship with them that year. But during this era, as you can see, similar events right here, this is what Crimsix was up to, just winning absolutely everything on Complexity. And this is kind of what he's saying, right? Especially this World Championship win in 2014 and all these wins through here. Like, they would just consistently just destroy Rambo, Reyes, Envy at every single tournament they played them at, even the World Championship once again for, you know, defeating him in the grand finals there. And therefore, that's kind of what made him retire. Crimsix made Rambo retire, and then a few years later, Rambo comes back as the Undertaker and gets Crimsix out of his team as well and drops him on the phone call, which, yeah, it's a kind of entertaining clip, I thought, overall. I wanted to look at this also. I mean, this is funny, first of all, from Jamie Grez. I guess I'll finish out the video with this one, but this is kind of a fantastic, classic video, really, here from Crimsix after the Full Sail comeback happened at Full Sail University in Black Ops 2, when it was the 5-0 comeback against Optic. You guys know what I'm talking about. And anyway, Crimsix, like, immediately after they won this, he runs straight across the stage to kind of to congratulate, or, you know, commiserate, I suppose, the Optic Gaming guys, which I just thought was hilarious, honestly. And as well, as Crimsix says, can't believe this is only 60 pounds ago, because yeah, running across the stage might not be possible anymore, but still, Crimsix definitely getting back to fitness. We've seen that over the last several weeks on his timeline. This also from Censor, right? So this is some of the discussion around some of these players forced into retirement. So sad to see lots of great players being forced into retirement. Even 10 years ago, a ton of talented guys were forced out because of a lack of opportunities. I'm hoping these next 10 years open up opportunities for players to compete and find sustainable sources of income. And yeah, Jaron says, you know, I mean, the skill gap caught up to those guys. Center doesn't necessarily agree. Like, if you really think some young cracked 18-year-old is taking over, look at Crim and Clay. Those guys are 30, still smoking the majority of the league. And as Clay says in reply, young cracked 18 to 20-year-olds, like I didn't win back-to-back champs at 27 and 28. Like, I just sat here and got 2 rings, got straight up carried for it. Clayster saying that's not necessarily the case. He obviously worked for those championships, no doubt. And well, this also from Pac-Man, right? Franchising exiles established players. That's what we saw already with with Vortex early on. For example, Saints could be in a similar boat right here. Some discussion on the matter, and as Doug kind of finishes off with, I think you're both right. There's new players that are nasty, new players that are absolute trash, old players that are still dominating, and old players that are awful. It's all about your mentality, work ethic, and most importantly, the players that you are surrounded by. So yeah, kind of an interesting discussion, but yeah, difficult to see some of these players stepping away. Maybe they'll come back at some point. Hopefully, as I say, expansion comes next year. I think we certainly need it. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do to help those YouTube overlords know this is a good video. Other people like you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
We're gonna have to run it down, bro. 56 seconds, let's go.
Yeah.
Capture the objective.
Yo, watch over me and T mid, someone.
Go, we are. We're gonna just go fly.
One.
Weak, too weak, go.
Go, huh?
Art.
I got one.
What's top laundry?
Got two.
What's top glass? Go. I count him back up, go. You can run.
Pull it.
I'm running. He's on behind.
I got him, 4, go. Down middle.
I blocked water. Yep, down middle.
I'm going.
I blocked water.
Watch out, Clay. Move.
He's already through. Cammy, one shot, going to our back base. Cammy in our back base. Turn around laundry. Turn around laundry.
Turn laundry time.
It's the only kid.
Big win.
Let's
go!
Bro, there was a kid top glass. He got the worst timing.
Complexity, come back, down 5 rounds, and they are your MLG Fall Invitational champions. Crimsix running across the stage.